statement?
Well, it was great to win, of course, and I thought, last time around, this team gave us a lot of trouble. They really can shoot the ball well if you let them, and defended us well enough, never quit, and hit huge shots down the stretch to force overtime, and it took a buzzer beater, by Ken to win that game. And so we knew who they are this time around. I thought you saw a lot of progress in our team tonight. I was really proud of that. I loved our defensive effort and energy. I loved our positioning. I thought we made things really difficult for them. And you have to, because they're very skilled. And so I loved that. I loved the preparation. Coach Devin had the scout, and we just did a great job, I thought, overall, just getting ready and then playing with that intensity. And the first quarter was absolutely beautiful on both ends of the floor. Wasn't quite the same in the second and third quarter, but then we finished super strong as well, and so Santa Clara is really tough, of course they were going to come at us in that second half, but I love the way that we fought them off, maintained intensity, and then hit shots. 7 threes are sitting next to me right here, 7 for 9, I believe, in this game. And so when you're defending, that just tends to go with it sometimes, and so I just love the way this team's getting better and better, and their work ethic is elite. I mean, every day they come in with a great attitude. They're hungry. It's in some ways sad that that it's nearing the end. If we win the national title, it's 41 days. I think we said something about that, and so that's the max that we have remaining together. And our best basketball is still ahead of us, and they know that. And so they're hungry, they're doing everything right, and they were rewarded tonight, with, I thought, a great effort. And so excited, 40 minutes down, 40 to go, excited for Saturday.
AJ, a 4 for 5 from three-pointers tonight. I think that's a career high with 4 makes from three-pointers. I believe
For
so.
AJ?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, and this isn't the first time late in the year that you've had a good night, do you feel like that shot is finally getting to the point where you would like it to be this season?
Yeah, for sure. I think my confidence has just gone up all season, and obviously, we're really comfortable at home, so getting that, before we go on the road next week is huge. But yeah, just feeling really confident with it.
And Kennedy, you had 3 three-pointers as well, but also you had 7 assists and no turnovers. For you, which one of those is the more important or the more impressive stat?
Well, I always love the assists, but for me, the three-pointers tonight, it's been something I've needed to grow on, and it hasn't been comfortable, but the only way I'm going to grow is if I just make myself do it. So probably tonight the threes, but usually the assists.
Scott, there was a moment in the third quarter where Pollard kind of played bully ball on a couple of possessions, got a layup, and got to the free throw line, and you looked down to your bench and you sent AJ and Kat back onto the floor. Just that duo and the size and what they bring to the defense on the wing, just how important is it to be able to have that when you have moments like that where somebody's starting to, to get something going offensively?
Yeah. Those are 2 elite defenders. You look at their size, their athleticism, the experience that they have as well, and so this team, the growth in this team, well, it's all over the floor, but our defensive intensity has just hit another completely different level, the last 3-4 weeks, where it's rare if we make a mistake. It's odd now if we make a mistake, where previously it was like, okay, we're going to make mistakes as we're getting used to each other and everything. Now it's weird if it happens. And so having that link, that athleticism, not only with them, but Ken's elite. Ken plays way bigger than she is, and then you've got 6'5" and 6'7" out there. We're formidable, on that end of the floor. And I thought we were loose in that third quarter. I thought we made some mistakes. That was obviously our weakest quarter defensively, their best offensively. Give them credit for the adjustments they made, but it took us a little too long to adapt to that, and so we went back with experience, I guess. You remember that probably better than I do. And so, so it's nice to be able to go to that when we need to.
AJ, I think you had 10 of your 18 in the fourth quarter. The third quarter was maybe a little clunky offensively. Did you feel like maybe senior it's time to step up, maybe yourself, just put some of this offense on your shoulders in the fourth, or?
Yeah, I think I definitely came out slow in the third quarter and needed to pick it up, but it wasn't something I was trying to force or look for. Obviously, I'm grateful coach looks to me and trusts me and calls plays for me. But just stepping up and hitting the shots when it was time to, when they came to me, was all I did really. I didn't really think about it too much.
Scott, you won 5 out of 6. What do you feel like? Is this just the natural progression of this team, or something clicked here over the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, you know what's really interesting? First off, I like that AJ, she let the game come to her. We did as a team. We did in the first quarter. I thought we pressed a little in that second and third, and then fourth quarter, we just executed better, and so give her a ton of credit for just slowing down and just letting the thing come to her. So that's first. What I think, it's kind of odd, that we're in a weird situation. I mean, we've not been in this conference. We've not played against these teams. It's interesting listening to the team. Like, we played Pacific on December 5th. None of us knew who Pacific was. I mean, I did. A couple of us did, but the Pacific meant nothing to this group. It was like some team in Stockton, that we're going to play. Then we get beat by them, in a kind of a bummer of a game, and now Pacific's somebody. Well, that's true of everybody. To this team, who's Portland? Who's Gonzaga even? So now, second time around, you kind of know who they are. Things are a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more fun because of that, Not that I'm not going to commit to rivalries here because it's year one, but at the same time, it's like, oh, we know these guys. We want to beat these guys now, And so previous, in our old lives, everything was kind of personal. You had so much history and everything. It was easy to get up for games. It's been hard for this team. It's hard for a human just to get up for teams that you don't have any history with. It's really an odd thing that we've experienced. So I think the experience that we have together as a group, combined with the experience we now have, with the teams in this conference, has led to a ton of growth, this second time around, playing them all. It's really interesting, and it's fun. It's way more fun because you've got a little bit of history now, with them, and so it just means more. So I think it's a combination, of all those things kind of hitting, and this team's they're really growing at a rapid pace right now.
For years and years, you were getting ready for a Pac-12 tournament. You kind of knew, where if you finished here, you got this. I know a lot of this is out of your control, but do you look at this WC, not knowing, ever been in this thing, knowing, what might be advantageous, or do you just go out and win a bunch of games and see where you end up finishing?
Yeah, well, it's fun always to speculate, and think about those things, but the reality that, after all these years you get to is that speculation doesn't really matter unless it's in regards to preparation, on how we will approach things if we're this seed or that seed. And in this conference, it's a unique tournament, obviously. One team, if you're in a 10 or an 11, you could play 6 games in 6 days, which is unheard of. It's like, why even invite them? That's impossible, And so 3 games in 3 days is normal, and that's what we're used to. 4 games in 4 days, obviously we've done that too, I think we did that one time. And so what can we control? Doing our best to stay where we are. Certainly you'd love to see, the team in front of you get beat, but you can't count on it. And so we just got to do the best we can and take care of business. And, our goal would be to win out. And if you win, you don't have to think about things. Just keep winning.
Going back to that third quarter, and this is a question for any of you. First half, Pollard not playing like she usually does, but then she started to. How are you dealing with that problem as the game progressed and on the court?
Yeah, any good player is going to get going at some point. So it's just a matter of not letting her keep going. And I think we did a better job of that in the fourth quarter.
Great. Any thoughts on that, Rueck? Or?
I think we did a great job. I thought our defense was just on point. in the first half. I thought we were disruptive. I thought our guards, when we switched onto her, we kept her away from the rim. Made her uncomfortable. You know, you obviously don't want her to catch and shoot. We didn't let her catch and shoot. We were there on everything. We made her put it on the floor, which is what you need to do with her. You know, in the second half, they were really made a concerted effort to post our guards, you know, and get her down inside, and she got to the glass a couple times against us. You know, Les was referring to that, you know, just with when she had a size advantage, that was an advantage for her. You know, during that little stretch, we lost her twice in transition, and she hit threes. You know, those were obvious mistakes that we didn't make that often, but when we did, she made us pay, which to her credit. And so I loved our intensity overall. And, you know, to kind of what Ken said, I guess, when you make mistakes against a great player, you're going to pay. And she made us pay when we did.
Thank you. For AJ, 4 years as a Beaver, you just have one game left in Gill before you head off to elsewhere in Vegas in the postseason. What's going through your mind? Like, are you having any thoughts right now? Are you what did I say? Yeah, what's your reflection on these past 4 years at with OSU?
Obviously, I've been through a lot, and I could sit up here and talk about it forever. But really, just going through my mind right now, it's just to win the next game. I'm not thinking about it too much. Obviously, it does mean a lot. You know, people are coming up to me after the game thanking me, and that means a lot to know that I've had that kind of impact. But just to keep doing what I've been doing and keep playing the way I've been playing, I think all of us are getting better towards the end of the season, and I'm really excited for what's to come for us. So, yeah, just keep playing my game.
Scott, aside from the obvious three-point shooting, you had 5 in double figures tonight. What just kind of getting the offense going and being that balance, what would that do for you guys down here in the stretch?
Yeah, I think that the most difficult team to defend is the one where you don't know where it's coming from, you know, and that's what we've always tried to do here. You know, our MO offensively has always been unselfish, ball movement, find the open person, make them pay for leaving you, you know, and if they're going to leave our post in single coverage, beat them that way. If they're going to double, beat them that way. To make the game actually look kind of beautiful instead of hard, you know, and when the ball moves like we want it to with the spacing that we typically have, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And this team's getting closer and closer to that. And so when I hear that, you know, that stat, 5 in double figures, you know, I think for the first time this year is what Ron Callan told me after the game. That's by design. That's what we want. And, you know, and so I would say that's on brand, you know, for who we are. And this team is really, you know, developing into a really good basketball team.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. Thank you.
Go
Go
Beavs.
Beavs.
Thanks, guys.